Hello. Hello out there. Thank you guys for tuning in. It is Monday and we are back on the Attractions podcast. I have a very special guest. It is not Seth.
No.
No. It is our very good friend of the show, Becky from MEI-Travel. Thank you for hopping on today.
Thank you for the invitation. I love this opportunity. I love talking to you. We never get enough time together. So if we have to steal a few minutes on a podcast, I'm great with that.
I am all for it. I'm excited to talk to you about all of your latest adventures, which we'll get into when we start the show. But thank you guys for tuning in. Seth is at Disneyland, so he's doing very important things like going to Napa Rose, which just reopened.
Yum.
So very jealous. But if you are you ready to get into this? We'll start the live show. Okay.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
To the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and MEI-Travel. I am Carly.
And I'm Becky.
Yes, and we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and a little bit more about what has been going on in our lives. Seth is busy in Disneyland doing all the things, and I am so happy for him. He got to go to the newly reopened Napa Rose, which means I get a very, very special guest, Becky.
Carly, I am so happy to be here. It's great to see you, even though we're not in the same room. I'm still okay with that because, man, you and I, once we start talking, it's hard to get us to stop.
I agree with you. I think the last time that was on a royal ship and we were just sitting in the promenade, chit-chatting about Lord knows what, but I love getting to chat with you. And I'm so happy. I know you have been so busy, to say the least. So you are taking the time, also an early morning for you and a late night that you had last night traveling. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. It is a little bit busy around here. This is what's known as wave season in my industry.
Can you explain that in case people don't know what it is?
Absolutely. It's tidal wave season for us. So usually I own a travel agency, and the first 3 months of the year is known as wave season. And it's typically when people start booking their travel for either the rest of the year or the beginning of the next year. So the suppliers know that, and they roll out all of their best deals in usually January, February, and it kind of lingers on into March a little bit. So the majority of people think about their vacations in this time period, and we're feeling it, which is a good problem to have.
Yes. So I want to know, what are people looking towards booking? Theme parks, cruises. I mean, what are you seeing right now? Because I'm so fascinated by this.
Everything. It is really crazy where you had that revenge travel that came back after the COVID epidemic. That's still there, and people are wanting to do their bucket list items before they think that they won't be able to do them, right? So a lot of people used to wait for their bucket list when they retired, but now we're seeing people in their 30s and 40s going, no, I want to go to Europe. No, I want to do these really special. Antarctica is big right now.
Yeah.
Expedition cruising, huge. It's really grown.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because what you just described is exactly what I'm kind of going through in my own self. Like, I did an Alaska cruise last year, which I never had on my radar. I did a South Africa trip, which wasn't on my radar. And this month, actually, it's March. I keep forgetting it's March already. I'm going on my first expedition cruise.
Oh, that's amazing. Which one?
Baja with Nat Geo. Yeah.
Oh.
So you're going to have to give me all the tips.
No problem. I will tell you, yes, theme parks are still up there, but because, it's no secret that the prices are a little bit higher than they've been in the past. So we're seeing people that are going, you know what? Because it's about the same price, I think I'm going to take this cruise. I'm going to do an expedition, or I'm going to do something else that's was a little bit higher in their on their list. So I will say that cruising has definitely won this game. They come with value propositions that include so many things on board the ships and great destinations and things to do for really low prices. So I think that's really where we've had our headspace, especially for the past 3, 4, 5 months, which has been great.
Wow. Yeah. And I like personally for me in my like 20s and 30s, I didn't mind doing split stays all through Europe and checking into a new hotel and whatnot. Now, as I get older, the last thing that I want to do truly, which I never thought I would be this person, is like I want to go to a place, put my stuff, hang up my dresses, and not do it again. So I think like that's honestly a big reason why I've been really into cruising this last like year-ish, because it's easy.
Yeah, especially in Europe, because what you get to do is have one hotel room. You're a floating hotel, and you get all of these stops in different countries. So you get to experience different cultures, different food, different locations, different history, but you don't have to pack and unpack. So there's that great thing where you can do pre and post too. So if you want to stay a little bit longer, you certainly can. I have a lot of clients that will do an ocean cruise in the Med, and then they'll hop a train, and then they'll hop on a river cruise right afterwards. Since
wow. Yeah. I mean, if you're over there, you might as well,
might as well, right? It's like only 20 minutes away.
Amazing. And speaking of cruises, you just got off quite a run of back to back, I believe 5.
Yes. 4 different cruises, 3 different land stays in Walt Disney World. It has been a little crazy. It's part of the job. We do a lot of escorting of groups on board cruises. We also take clients on different cruises so they can evaluate it for potential groups later, which is kind of what we did. I did the Disney Destiny twice. So almost
I
a back-to-back.
definitely wanted to chat because you did the newest ship and also Disney's oldest ship, the Magic. So I haven't been back on the Destiny since going on it. I did back to back when it first came out. So I got to spend a decent amount of time. What are your thoughts on it now that you've gone back on it?
So the Destiny, it still has a little bit of love in my heart. I love the IP on board. Still not crazy about all the teeny small spaces. I'm nothing but honest. And that's something that kind of gets to me on that one. But I went from the Destiny to Star of the Seas, which is the largest ship afloat right now, to, of course, the Disney Magic, which you just mentioned, which is in comparison, the Star of the Seas is 250 gross tonnage. The Disney Magic is 84.
Oh,
so it kind of tells you
that's crazy.
Difference in size. And I'll tell you what I really was impressed with is the Disney Magic has a lot of nice size spaces that you can still go and find a seat no matter where you're going there for bingo. There's still a seat, and I can't really say that on the Destiny. It's a little bit more difficult.
Right. I'm thinking it comes to mind is Scat Cat Lounge, which is also the Tiana themed, which is this massive space that's not only bar, not only cocktail service, but they are able to use for trivia and has a stage and live music. And on the Magic and Wonder, those venues, I have found myself spending the most time there because, like you said, you can always get a bar seat. You can always get a table seating if you're with a group, which a lot of people are. And something like on the Destiny, which DeVille's, which was my favorite venue on the Destiny. I love the 101 Dalmatians theme bar, but it was like fighting teeth to get in. I think I lined up like 2 hours ahead to get my party in there because I wanted to be in there so bad.
Yeah, and I think that only seats like 42. So it really is a small space. And you're right. The Destiny for me kind of felt like I was in a theme park because I was lining up for everything. I was getting there for 45 minutes ahead of time and still wondering if I was going to get in. So one thing I did really love about the Magic is it doesn't rely on a lot of IP. You can still have this great classic cruise experience without having to have every single thing connected to a movie or a ride.
Right.
So I could still have that wonderful Disney Magic feeling on the Disney Magic without it needing to be, a full theme park. I will say I was on board one of the sailings that was the Star Wars Day at Sea.
Yes.
So I love those themed days because it does
true.
have this little pop of fun and pop of energy, and Thor's running around. So what can I say?
I did see your picture with Thor. I was very jealous. And I have to agree with you. I haven't done that, but I did do Pixar Day at Sea
Oh,
on the
fun.
Disney Fantasy. And I went into it like really open-minded. I love Pixar. And I thought, how many more activities can they really add to a Disney cruise? Because there's already a million. Oh, they add like literally a million more activations, entertainment. I had the best time, and I spent the sea days like running around doing the scavenger hunt, building a forky, and they really did a great job with these themed cruises. So I love to see it. I love to see they're still doing it.
Yeah, and they do them on the ships and some of the sailings and the dates that aren't that popular because you have kids in school. So they kind of
Right.
pop those in there as being an excuse to take your kids out of school so you can go on a cruise. But it's brilliant how they do it. And like you said, the activations throughout the day, when I first woke up, I could hear the Avengers theme in the hallways that was playing in the music. So it wasn't just that little elevator music. It was that
Right.
dun-dun. And it just really started your day off in the right way. And you have all of the guests are dressed up too, and they're really into it, much like the Star Wars Day at Sea, where all of a sudden everybody turned into a Star Wars character when we did that one. So I really love how they do these. I hope they continue.
Oh, absolutely. And you went out of with the magic, I believe, Galveston, right?
Yes, and Galveston, it's a little, you have to commit to make it to Galveston because it
Right.
is like an hour to an hour and a half, depending on what airport you fly into. But once you're there, go pre-stay. Stay near the Strand, which is the area near the port.
Mhm.
It's like a little mini New Orleans feel down there with a
Yeah.
lot of history, a lot of great hotels, some classic places. I stayed at the Tremont. Loved it. It was so neat with a rooftop bar,
Wow.
great meals, great food, great people. Um, Galveston kind of doesn't get the love that it needs or deserves. I would say if you are living in that area, easy for you to get to Galveston, definitely take a cruise out of that port.
Absolutely. Yeah. I did the magic last year out of Galveston, discovered it was a lot of people that drove,
Yeah.
as far as it different from like a Port Canaveral, if you're going out of Fort Lauderdale. I love that because it just had this kind of very like casual feel. People
Mhm.
didn't get as dressed up as a Caribbean cruise. It was like a whole different kind of like culture to it. But I have to say, I loved Galveston. I stayed at the Grand Galvez, which I'm sure you're familiar with, the historic
Yes, it's haunted,
hotel.
by the way,
Oh,
just so
yes.
you know.
I always seek out haunted hotels. I'm so
I do
sorry to my
too.
husband.
Ah,
Yes,
that's
I
so
don't tell
awesome.
him until we're there, and I'm like, "How did you not realize when we're staying in another hotel that's over 100 years old that it's haunted?" Yeah, so this
Of
one's haunted by
course.
a ghost bride. It is so cool. I loved it, and also the port is if you're used to the Florida ports, which are like, this is like a breeze of an
Mhm.
experience, and you could pre-check anywhere you're cruising out of to see how many ships are gonna be in the port that day. And in Galveston, I think when I went, there was like one, and it was a
Mhm.
small carnival. And it was literally the best boarding experience I've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. We had the exact same experience. As long as it's not storming outside, because the port facilities aren't huge. They pretty much go right on board. And that's one thing that I love too about those smaller ships. You don't have 7,000 people that you're trying to all board at the same time. You have about 2,300 or so.
Right. And
And
everyone's arriving different times. Some people don't go to the afternoon, which I'm like, I want to get there as soon as possible to take advantage of everything. But I totally get like the leisurely stroll up.
yeah, just kinda stroll on in, walk past everybody, just walk on board. I'm that person that I love to grab that earliest port arrival time and be there 20 minutes before that.
Right. And it's
I'm with you.
usually pretty much they let you in even earlier than expected, which is wonderful. So if anyone is looking to book a Disney cruise now, is now a good time? Is there any good like deals going on, exciting new itineraries? I believe like summer 27 or something dropped recently.
Just dropped. Yeah,
Yeah.
summer 27 dropped, and the number one thing that I can advise you is if you wanna book a Disney cruise, the best way to get the best price is to book as soon as it releases. And if you're not booking concierge, you can book and place a deposit, which is fully refundable. So if you're thinking, "Oh, I'm not sure if those dates will work for me, but I really wanna go," book it. book it, cancel it,
Yeah.
and get your money back if you
Which
can't.
I
That's
think
the best
people
way.
don't realize because, with air travel and hotels, there's kind of no rhyme or reason. There's ups and downs. You can call later and get refunded and back amounts when it dips, but cruises are a whole different beast. That is why we need you.
100%.
I don't want to deal with
Yeah.
it.
And the DCL has a couple of really great offers right now. They have a 20% off the voyage fare plus a $250 onboard credit on select sailings on the Wish and the Dream. And that is for select sailings from April through July of 26. So if you're wanting to do a cruise in the short term, there's still a lot of availability for that. And yeah, that has to be booked by March 29th. Another thing that they rolled out just a couple of days ago, which is kind of impressive, is they have this bounce back offer. If
Ooh.
you, I know, and it's brand new and it's kind of interesting. If you stayed at a Disney Deluxe or Villa Resort if you book within 7 days after checking out, you can save up to 25% off a Disney Cruise Line fare.
Wow. So that's if you're doing a land and sea situation.
No, let's say
Oh.
let's say that you're now staying at the Disney's Beach Club Resort and you're checking out tomorrow. In 7 days from tomorrow, you can book a Disney Cruise Line separately and save 25%
Wow.
off.
Oh my God. I assumed it meant within 7 days you had to sail out. Wow. That's
Oh,
crazy.
oh, and those sailings include most of 2026, excluding holidays and a couple of high season areas, but March through December dates that are valid. And then just for the fun of it, they did a reverse. So if you just got off Disney Cruise Line, within 14 days after getting off a cruise, you can book an offer at Walt Disney World and save up to 35% off rooms. So they're
Wow.
getting a little creative right now.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. It's really fascinating because we're seeing Disney Cruise Line expand so rapidly, for years, nothing new. And then we have Wish, Treasure, Destiny, now the Adventure coming up, boom. And Disney ships traditionally are almost above 95% occupancy every single sailing is what they have shared. Almost every sailing is full or what they consider full. Is it a little bit easier now that guests have kind of like a more of a range of the fleet to pick from with more ships to get on what you want? And
Right. So they do have some soft areas right now. So that's where you're seeing like the Wish and the Wish and the Dream are the two that they're trying to fill now. So
Mhm.
you'll see when they roll these offers out. And by the way, I haven't seen offers for DCL in years. So it's kind of telling you there's a little pressure in some
Yeah.
areas. The Wish, the Dream also look for offers, anything going out of San Diego. So the Wonder out of San Diego has amazing rates. I mean,
I
lower
was
than you
just
normally see from
looking these up and they were
yeah.
like 2,000. I mean, it's an interior room, whatever, but these are 3-night ships. I think I could deal with that for a 3
Yeah.
night,
And out of Galveston too. So if you can do any of those are the softest spots that we're seeing right now, which are going to have the best prices. And Disney does a little trick where they actually raise their rates as the ships fill. So if you're looking for gunning
Oh,
for like one of those really like the Destiny is really important right now. The
right.
Treasure for sure is because it's a 7-night sailing. Any of those itineraries that are really popular, those you want to book as soon as you possibly can once they release because the prices just go up. And in that first week, you can see even on day one, the rates go from what they call a tier 1 all the way up, and you can see rates go up hundreds of dollars per person on day 1. So you
Wow.
really want to get in there.
So this could literally add thousands if you are
Yes.
not, planning accordingly. That's wild.
Exactly. It is, and
Um,
that's kind of been a trick with DCL for a long time, which is different than other cruise lines.
Right. I mean, again, this is why we need you because this is all, foreign territory to so many. And I know so many people are just now getting into cruising because of all these lines expanding and everything we heard of. I kind of go through like lulls and stuff where I'm like really into it and I'm in my really into phase. But I do know a lot of people that are trying it for the first time.
Mhm.
If you
There's a
were
lot of
going on your first cruise and you wanted to cruise Disney, what ship? I know it might be really hard. Ship or maybe itinerary, what would you suggest for a person that's wanting to cruise Disney first time?
One thing I would say is so many people go, well, take a 3 or a 4 night first to see if you like it. I'm going to kind of nix that.
Mhm.
A 4 night is the minimum I would suggest because you're never going to get the real cruise experience unless you do 5 or 7.
Right.
That way you have a chance to really understand what that experience should be, and you get to discover all the things that you may not have known were there. And
Mhm.
if you're just there on a 3 night or 4 night, you get in, you unpack, you're pretty much eating twice and packing and leaving again. So one of my favorite things to say is commit. Commit
Yeah.
to a 5 or a 7 to really give cruising a chance. And I'm going to like blow my own horn here, but work with a travel advisor
Right.
that understands the product. That way they'll give you and prepare you for all of the experiences, what you need to sign up for when, so that you don't miss out on things and that you're fully prepared. So there's no surprises that might be a negative hit on your first cruise vacation.
Yes, you've gone on a million Disney cruises, and I'm sure you'll agree, Disney cruises have its own culture. Things
Mhm.
like Pirate Night, things like booking Palo or Royal Gathering, which might sound like we're talking a different language if you haven't sailed Disney, but that's exactly why they need you because it is its own world, totally different from other cruises. And
Yeah.
you're going to be kind of sad if you're in the atrium and you look down and you see all these princesses meeting people and you can't because you didn't know to sign up for Royal Gathering.
Right. I actually saw that happen on the Magic where
Oh,
some mom and her little girl was all dressed up as Belle and they wanted to go see Belle and they noticed Belle and it's like, I'm sorry, you don't have a reservation for this. And
yeah,
my heart just sunk for them. But you're right. These are little cities now, even the smallest
right.
ships, because there's so much going on. And a lot of people might think, oh, it's just princesses, or yeah, it's just this, or yeah, there's a lot of great adult things to do on board as well. But if you're not aware of them, or if you haven't experienced it, or know people who have, you might miss out on some of the best experiences on board if you're not aware.
Exactly. And I feel like especially Disney and Royal, like these are
Yeah.
two cruise brands that have this distinct like culture and things you really need to like to research before you go on. And these are much easier vacations than a theme park, I will say. It doesn't require that level of, mapping out your days with lightning lanes, but to have the best time, you are going to want to be well versed in, what's the signature thing about Royal? What is the
Absolutely.
signature thing about Disney? So like, you can make the most of your time.
And knowing the most popular things, many of them you can book before you go. But when
Right.
that window opens up to book it, you have to be there and ready to go or work with someone who can help you do that. So you're right. Royal and Disney are the two that have kind of the most complicated of it. But like
Yeah.
you said, nothing near what the theme parks are right
Right.
now.
No,
And you're
and
not
it's like
going to have your face in
complicated.
your phone.
Yeah, so you just gotta learn a new language. It is
Right.
not that difficult, but you just gotta learn it to make sure you have the best time. I wanna
Exactly.
kinda now talk a little bit about land.
Mhm.
We're off the sea. Walt Disney World, Disneyland, there's a lot of really good promotions going on with hotels, packages, kids eat free. What are you sharing with your clients? What are you spilling with them that are wanna save money? Because we know a theme park vacation to Disney World and Disneyland is more expensive than ever.
Yeah, it really is. But the great thing, let's talk about Disneyland really quickly first. One of the best unknown things that people don't think about is there are good neighbor hotels that are within walking distance
Mhm.
of the gates of the parks. So there's a lot of savings to be had there, but there's also like right now they're running up to 25% off select stays at the Disneyland resort hotels from May into September. So you can find those little pieces of savings in at Disneyland. They have something similar, save up to 30% on off rooms this summer. And that goes from May 1st to July 29th. So it gets you into that summer season as well. And one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is don't wait for these offers. If you know you want to go, and again, deposits are refundable up
Right.
into
Mhm.
final payment. So when it releases, book what you want so you get the hotel and the room you want and the view that you want, because that's really important too. And then the offers are going to come. And if you're working with a travel advisor or if you're working with Disney directly, you can call the Disney or you can just tell your travel advisor, or for us, we do it proactively. When an offer comes out, we automatically apply the savings. So you're going to get the offer and the room and the view that you want if you book early.
Amazing. And I think that's especially true for Disneyland. I think the number one question I'm asked by people, random DM, whatever, friends, family, they're like, where do I stay? Because Disney World's a little bit easier. You know, you have a budget and there's a billion hotels on site that you could pick from. Disneyland, you know, there's only 3 on-site hotels. Sometimes they're very expensive, but there's also dozens of hotels walking distance. I think I've stayed in probably like 25 of them, and they are absolutely not all created equally.
Right.
Some are great, some are bare bones and great, which I personally love if I'm trying to, you know, work within a budget. Some are really bad. So, and it's like a very complicated minefield to navigate.
That is so true. And a lot of people don't care about their hotel. They just want a place they can put their stuff, take a shower, sleep, because they're going to spend the entire time in the park. So why would you want to spend a significant part of your budget on a place you're not going to really hang out in?
Right.
Others are going to be like, I want a pool day, man. I want a pool. I want a spa. I want something away from the theme parks. I want a balance of both. So the one thing I love about Disneyland is it has all of those options and all of those choices within walking distance, or even just a really quick lift ride if you wanted to do that.
Absolutely.
Disney World's a little more complicated because it does have so many on property, but those prices, even at the values, are a little substantial right now. But you do have the Disney Springs area. I almost said downtown Disney because I'm still.
It's okay. Forever in our hearts.
I can't let go. The Disney Spring area has a lot of great value for the hotels. And oh, by the way, may I also mention Swan and Dolphin? A lot of people.
That is my favorite. Oh.
And the rates are really reasonable. And if you're a teacher, or if you're an EMT, or if you're a firefighter, there's a lot of different discounts that can be had at Swan. And you get all of the benefits of being right there and riding the boats and being on property at off-property prices.
Absolutely. I love this. I love all the 3 properties. Swan Reserve is just excellent. And you are paying like low-level, moderate Disney World prices for truly a deluxe experience, like high-end of deluxe experience.
Exactly. And not to upset my Disney salespeople, but you also have the wonderful resorts that are way off property, but you can still go to the theme parks if you want true luxury too. Right. So there's all kinds of options there.
Four Seasons is my favorite. That's like my once a year splurge. I have to stay there. It is honestly one of my favorite hotels in the world because of the hospitality and also that chauffeur to Magic Kingdom.
Oh my gosh. Yes. And the rates, well, they're expensive. Honestly, if you're comparing them to some of the deluxe with premier views, it's about the same.
Right. Yeah. And it's a totally different ball game. It is like true luxury. It's my favorite hotel in Orlando, you know, totally different vibe than the Polynesian or the Grand Floridian, but we're definitely trying. Yeah.
And a quick story of how the difference is. I stayed there one time and I asked for, I wanted, you know, specific, I wanted root beer, and you know, they made note of what I liked. Wow. And who knew that they did that? And I came back, and when I returned, in my refrigerator was root beer and the salty snacks that I liked, because they had recorded it and took note of my preferences to make it easier for me. That's a luxury resort.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. No, it truly lives up to the luxury. Are there any other like discounts that we should be aware of for Walt Disney World? Because I know there's so much coming this year. You know, Rock and Roller Coaster just closed this past weekend. We have the Muppets. We have the animation, which we're going to be talking about later on. Anything else to kind of know?
Yeah, right now, if you're a pass holder in that same period from May to July, you can save up to 40% if you're a pass holder on many of the stays. Florida residents also have up to 35%. And right now, they're kind of leaning just into that end of July period. So I have a feeling in the next few weeks, we're going to see the next rollout of offers. But right now, that 30% off the rooms is going to be what we're seeing, for the exception of, again, if you got off a Disney cruise and within 7 days or 14 days, you can book a Walt Disney World stay as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned earlier about, the value resorts at Disney World haven't really been as value forward as they have been in past years. Like a decade ago, I used to, if I was going bare bones, I would book All-Star for like $80. And we don't really
$89 a
see
night.
those anymore. Yeah, I would do it all the time. Actually have an upcoming trip. I need to go back and stay in the All-Stars because it's been a minute for
Mhm.
me. Stay there just to kind of, reacquaint myself. And I will say with the discounts that they're offering for APs, it's pretty good. It's not the $80 of yesterday, but
Right.
it's still in the 100 price range, which I feel comfortable
Mhm.
spending for that on property feel with the bus, the food court and whatnot. So things are pretty good if you know how to find them.
Exactly. If you're gonna dig a little deeper, and again, the value resorts are great. They're on property. You still get that Disney magic when you're there. You get the cast members, which of course they are so great
Mhm.
at hospitality. It's a wonderful option.
Yay, amazing. I love chatting this stuff with you. It is so much fun. Let us get into a little bit of what's going on in the theme park news world.
Okay.
Okay, we are talking again about Texas, but this time we are talking about the Dallas area. So, very exciting. We know a new Universal theme park resort is coming to the Dallas area this year. And we have a little bit more information on some of the themed lands and attractions that are going to be there. So, one of the biggest things that come out of this news is we are going to have the first Shrek ride in the US. This is going to be called Shrek and Fiona's Happily Ogre After. Do you love that name?
I love that name. I read that for the first time, and I thought, "This is adorable," and
Yes.
it lends to a lot of humor, I know.
I'm curious, like, do you have clients asking about this property, or is it not really on people's radars just yet?
We are from the people who are on the West Coast and
Mhm.
down into the Dallas area, of course. They're really
Right.
excited about this because it is a great place for those younger kids and families where Universal has the teenage, clientele are all sewn up over in California and Florida, but this is an interesting step into the younger families, and I love seeing the theming.
Yeah, and just Texas alone is kind of becoming this new hotbed for regional theme
Mhm.
parks. We have the Peppa Pig, and it's just really exciting. And again, we see how popular these cruises are out of Texas, and it's a largely drivable audience. This is another theme park that I think we're going to get a lot of people that could drive there. And it's very exciting. And like you said, this is kids focused. So let's go back to Shrek. So, in the land that was formerly named DreamWorks Shrek Swamp, Universal says that guests can take a ride on Shrek and Fiona's Happily Ogre After to hear how an ogre and a princess were enchanted by love. We have some artist renderings and it looks really cute. This is going to be an outdoor ride, which I was a little surprised because if you've ever been to Texas in the summer, it can often feel like the surface of the sun.
Right.
Yes, very hot. So this is going to be an outdoor ride. You're going to be in these really adorable open air carriages, and you are going to see iconic moments and scenes from the Shrek movies. And they've used these kind of wooden vignettes to bring this to life, but it looks absolutely adorable. And I know I am going to be interested in because I will be very hot in the Texas heat. It's also going to have a Shrek's Swamp Splash and Smash. So this is a playground, in lore built by Shrek for his triplets, and you're going to find a meet and greet with Shrek and Fiona. This is so cute.
I think I would have to live in the splash zone for the
Yes.
summer.
Yes, I agree with you completely. We know Florida's hot, but I've never been more hot in my life than going to a summer wedding in Texas.
Ugh, ugh, yuck.
I know. I'm still
I
salty about it.
I'm with you on the what were they thinking on the outdoor thing, but then again, if you live there, you're probably acclimated and it's probably just fine, and they are going after the drive market here. So
Exactly. And same with the Peppa Pig theme park. That's all outside. In Florida, it's all outside minus the eatery. So I think you're right. People are used to this. And, these might not exactly be full day parks. So the local audience may be driving in for a 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. lunchtime-ish visit, or maybe like a late afternoon visit. So it's a little bit different than what we're used to with, Florida or Anaheim. And then also we have coming to this brand new theme park that we don't know when it's going to open, but sometime this year is a land themed to everybody's favorite, SpongeBob. This is going to be called Nickelodeon's SpongeBob Squarepants Bikini Bottom. That is a mouthful for nomenclature that I have to start practicing to be able to talk about it. But this looks adorable. And again, it's going to be focused on family-friendly attractions. And this has been such a hit with families at Universal Studios Florida. I love going into the pineapple shop and meeting them. And this is going to have several very, kid-friendly rides. We have one that's sort of like a Dumbo attraction with that hub and spoke, which in the artwork, it looks absolutely adorable. We have the Barnacle Bus, which is going to travel along a half pipe, another flat ride. We have a water ride called Bobbing Barrels, which again, very happy when I hear water in the sentence. You are feel free to shoot me with all the water that you want. And we don't have concept art for it yet, but the final ride is going to be called Mrs. Puff's Boating School.
Ooh.
It sounds very cute. We do not know any further information on the restaurant, what it's going to serve, but instead of Krusty Krab, there's going to be Goofy Goobers, and they're going to have, expected concessions like hot dogs. The land is also going to have a Pineapple Paradise water play area. As you can guess, you're going to be splashing in that pineapple. This is in addition to a Muscle Beach relaxation zone. So I feel like that land, we've kind of learned a lot about it, and there's going to be a lot in there, especially if you are looking to cool off. That's probably where it will be.
One thing I think has great potential here is the food and beverage. I think it's going to be fun and colorful and themed, and I'm looking forward to seeing what all that's going to be about.
Yes, same. And finally, we have more details on another land. This is Jurassic World Adventure Camp. So again, this is also going to be in addition to the Shrek land, Minions, and SpongeBob, and this will be called Jurassic World Adventure Camp. And I think what a lot of people are really excited about, this is going to offer maybe an intro to thrills for the budding coaster enthusiast with a family-friendly outdoor roller coaster. Not a Velocicoaster. This is definitely a family-friendly experience called Jurassic World. Cannot pronounce this, but I'm going to try it. Cretaceous Coaster. Does that sound right?
I'll say yes, because I'm looking at it going, yes. Yes. I'm just going to say yes.
Yes. This is going to have a minimum height of 39 inches. So again, leaning into that family friendly. Its backstory involves the riders are going to be going on a mission to find a baby dinosaur named Bumpy. This looks so cute. We also have an appearance from Mr. DNA, which was super popular at Universal Orlando Resort. And this is going to be Mr. DNA's double helix spin. We also have a kiddie version of a drop tower. And what I'm very excited about is a live show, which I love whenever we get to have live entertainment, because in the theme park world, I feel like every day we're getting it ripped from us. They are getting rid of live performers, but here they will have Jurassic World Hatch Dispatch. Dr. Kai has baby raptor eggs ready to hatch, and you are going to grab your front row seat and get ready to meet the newest member of the Jurassic World family. There will also be an opportunity to meet a cute baby raptor, which in park experience, these are always wildly popular. Are you a fan?
Okay. Dinosaurs will eat your head.
Yes.
That's my whole thing about dinosaurs.
Yes.
However, I love the raptors in Orlando, where they come behind you and he scares the Jesus out of you. It's one of my favorite things to watch people go through. This is adorable. Seeing the little baby. I love this idea. I love this concept. I love, because there's so many kids that just adore dinosaurs, and to do it in a family-friendly way that's not going to have the raptors scaring the bejesus out of you, and being able to be kind of up close. I think this is great.
Absolutely. And the more I think about it, I think I'm most hyped for this land because of that. I mean, there's so much potential. There's so many things they could do, so many additions, walk around dinosaurs, which we have seen in other parks at Hollywood. It's such a, fiasco when the dinosaur comes out. So I just feel like there's so much to do here. And like you said, kids love dinosaurs, and they also love playing outside, which is Another thing this park is going to have, which more parks desperately need, and these are these kind of larger than life play structures. And here it's called Jurassic World Lookout Towers. If you read the story, it is a multi-level play structure. And this is something we're seeing parks get away, take away. And we need these. Parents need the moment to let their kid run loose. Running from attraction to attraction is amazing, but kids get overstimulated. And I know like a lot of friends that I have, their kids say their favorite moments are like at Epcot playing on that playground, or, just being back at the pool. And it's like, we kind of don't think about these such little things that may not seem a lot to us as adults, but kids love.
Yeah, they have energy, boundless energy. And to be able to take a breath and let your kids run through one of these areas that are specifically designed for them and their safety, let them go crazy for a little bit, wind down that battery, especially if you've been in a theme park where it's hot and you're standing in line a lot. Kids have too much energy to stand in line. We're like, I just want to stand here for a moment in the shade. Kids are not having any of that. So
and
to have these areas,
stand and relax,
Yeah, exactly. So to have these areas to just go, hey, I'll be over here. You go run around for 15 minutes and drown that battery a little bit. I think it's brilliant.
Yes, and I'm sure this is going to be adorable. And the land, Jurassic World Adventure Camp, is also going to have a restaurant, Jurassic World Canteen. We don't have a menu yet, but definitely excited for that. The eats at Universal Studios are amazing, and they're really nice themed. And there also, of course, will be a gift shop. This will be called Jurassic World Outfitter. So I personally am really excited for this park. I know it's for younger kids, but it's just so exciting that we are getting another park from Universal. It's big. It's a big deal.
And I love the family-friendly roller coasters too. Everybody loves a roller coaster, but obviously it's either going to be so off the mark that it's a little terrifying for some people, but to have these that the kids and the families can enjoy together with a little bit of thrill mixed in, again, really well done. I can't wait to see it.
Yes, very excited. I'm sure we will be there scoping it out so we could share with everyone else. And speaking of kid-friendly roller coasters, one of the biggest openings of 2026 in the theme park world just happened. And this is Legoland's Galacticoaster. And we are calling it like the Cosmic Rewind for kids. So this is a huge investment by Legoland. It has opened up in Legoland, Florida, and it's just about to open up at Legoland, California. And this is an indoor roller coaster. Have you heard a lot about this? Has this been on your radar?
This has not been on my radar, to be quite honest. I heard about the buzz of it. We haven't had a lot of information about it, so I'm really excited to hear more.
Absolutely. So again, this is for the budding enthusiasts. They are really, and this is like a true investment. This is not just an off the rack outdoor roller coaster or a mouse coaster that they just kind of purchased from a manufacturer. This is the real deal. And Matt, our publisher, got to spend some time there and ride it. And I loved his review and seeing the photos. It looks absolutely adorable. And I think kids are really going to love, before you go on this roller coaster, in the queue, you're going to build your own space vehicle. And this is reminiscent of Test Track at Epcot, which I didn't really like that part because I just want to get on the ride. But I know a lot of kids do. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's really neat to have a hand in your own destiny, I think. And that's what I love so much about Test Track is, I just want to get on the ride and go. It was kind of cool to sit there and go, can I make something that totally couldn't go anywhere, but it'd be fun to make it anyway and pretend that I'm on it?
So you're going to get your opportunity to do that once again, design your own vehicle. Also very exciting, in the queue, you will meet the world's first Lego animatronic, Biff Dipper, which is an absolutely adorable name. I loved seeing that this is incorporated. And again, Legoland's, taking risks, spending money. This is an animatronic. I'm very happy to hear they are doing this. As far as the on-ride experience, Matt shared that there's a little bit of curves and spinning, but nothing too intense. Motion sickness shouldn't be too much of a problem. And this attraction, which looks absolutely adorable, is part of a new space-themed land in the park. And it will also be at Legoland out in California. I love it. And it's the entire thing is an homage to space set 885, which was one of the earliest Lego space sets. So it kind of brings it this whole full circle moment. I can't wait personally to get out there and try it. Have you been to a Legoland park?
I have never been to a Legoland park. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my
I know it's one of those true confessions. I've always wanted to, because I'm attracted to the whole theming of Legos. I
Yeah,
love the shows. I love the movie. So it's got to
absolutely. Yeah.
definitely, this will give me a great excuse to go check it out.
Yes, it's research for science. I will say
Exactly.
I love the Legoland hotels. They are so incredibly immersive. I don't have kids, but I've done a few like adult only trips with my sister to Legoland hotels. We've done New York and Florida, and they're just really fun. The elevators have a disco ball. So when you are changing floors, literally music starts blasting and a disco ball spins above, and it's just like such a really like interesting detail that makes the experience.
That sounds fun.
Yes,
And it's
no,
great
it
as
is such a
adults,
great time.
we need to be 8-year-olds, and
Yes.
that's like the perfect opportunity to do an adults turning into 8-year-olds trip.
You know what? I was really surprised when I went to Legoland New York, especially. We stayed at the Legoland Hotel, which is connected to the park. It was like 75% adults only because the Lego adult scene is huge. I totally underestimated it, although I shouldn't have, because I've seen what the lines are like when like a new set drops, if it's like Harry Potter or
Mhm.
whatnot. Like the Legoland community is fiercely adults, and I kind of love that.
I do too.
Yes.
I refuse to grow up.
No.
I will find any excuse to still be a kid.
Same, same. That is it for the news in the queue. Let us hear a little bit from our sponsor, which is you. I'm going to play a little quick commercial.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
Yes. Before we get into the main attraction, how can people that are looking to plan a trip, like you said, it is wave season. You need to get planning. It's already early March. How can people reach out to you and your team?
Well, I've got a couple of things for you, and one of them is our secret weapon, which
Ooh.
is a self-booking cruise engine. So we know a lot of people want to go out, they want to pick their own cabin, they want to look at all the deals. It might be midnight and you're wanting to book a cruise and no one's available to call. Go to book MEICruise.com. You can see all of our specials, all of our deals. You can hold a cabin if you'd like. You can even book a cabin if you'd like. And the next day, we reach out to you because we assign an advisor who watches it and makes sure that you always have the best deal. So that's our little secret weapon. Otherwise, MEI-travel.com. Or you can always reach out to me on any of the socials at Becky Mankin, which is spelled weird, BECIMAHNKEN. Message me and I'll hook you up with one of our advisors if you need help.
Absolutely. I love it. And I can tell everyone out there, you are always on a cruise. So I'm sure you've been on hundreds of cruises. So if there's honestly no one I know more well-versed, if I'm doing a cruise story, I'm like, I have to call Becky to help me with this because you know it. And that is exactly what you want when you are looking for a travel advisor for cruises, for theme parks. Things are more complicated than ever. So I'm so happy that you are a good resource.
And a lot of people don't realize that there are travel agencies out there who charge fees. We do not. So
Wow.
you're paying exactly what you would pay if you go direct to the supplier.
Well,
but you
actually,
get
probably
all of-
cheaper because you're going to find them deals.
Yes. Or we actually have access to group space that you can't see online if you're looking yourself. Or we might have offers like with Royal Caribbean, we just had a free spa experience for those who booked a balcony and above.
Wow.
There's all kinds of deals that are happening all the time, especially right now at wave season, but you're not going to see them just plastered on a website.
Right.
If you talk with an advisor and you get connected to one, they learn what you like, what kind of vacationer you are, and we can find the deals that connect to your experience.
Amazing. And I will say, I was looking at doing a massage when I was just on a royal cruise in January. Oh my gosh. It is like $500 for massage. You know, it's like the price of a Four Seasons or a Conrad. So getting a complimentary spa service is kind of a crazy deal.
Yeah, we have free gratuities that come up all the time. We have free beverage packages that pop up all the time. So it just depends on who's running what offers when. But a lot of them are special to the consortia that we belong to or exclusive just to us. So you're not going to see them out massively advertised because it's just available through us, which is really great.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Now we are going to get into our main attraction.
It's time for the main attraction.
And finally, there's a lot of changes happening at Walt Disney World, but what I think I am most excited about is this little dash of 90s nostalgia that I'm feeling. And that is because Disney animation will be celebrated once again at Hollywood Studios when the magic of Disney animation opens in late summer 2026. Do you have memories of the old animation in the 90s there?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I didn't visit until 1996. So I came into Walt Disney World late. I'm a Disneyland girl. That's my park. But the animation is the center of the story here. And we kind of lost track of that through the years. So to see it come back is amazing to me. And I cannot wait to see what you're just about ready to talk about.
Yes. So one of the most exciting things about animation coming back. So again, this is going to be called Magic of Disney Animation. This is where Star Wars Launch Bay closed, and it's going to be opening late this summer. And they are going to be doing kind of a reimagined character greeting experience. It is going to be called Off the Page. So this is going to be totally different than what we've experienced in the past. Guests will have the chance to meet 8 different characters across 6 photo ops. And these photo ops are not just like step and repeat or backgrounds. These are going to celebrate different aspects of the animation process. So we have, for example, Rapunzel is going to be in what's called a layout. And this is inspired by the multiplane camera, which uses different layers of scenery to kind of make this really like deeper image. And the final product, when you get that picture, is going to be kind of like a trick to the eye because it's going to look like the super deep space, but it actually isn't because it's just kind of like the magic that's used there. And I love that they're leaning into it and using that because they could have easily just been like, oh, hey, we drew this character, come meet her in here, you know, and they didn't do that.
Yeah, what I really appreciate is there's more to the story. Like you said, most of the meet and greets are, hey, stand in line here, say hi, hand your phone to the handler and take your picture and move on. These have a lot of detail to them about the process of animation. So there's education involved with what you're looking at, and you're not just walking through. I think that this is a hit to me. I think it's going to be really cool to see. Like, I noticed that there's one that's like lighting with Goofy, and I'm a light tech in a former trade, and I can't wait to see how they make that come to life so that people understand how the backstage workings are of these pieces, rather than just walking it through, which we've seen a couple of those meet and greets like at Epcot, where you walk in, you stand in line, you just have a background, you say hi for a couple of minutes and you're gone. I think this brings a whole new layer to the experience.
Absolutely. And you're going to get to meet Mulan, Rapunzel, as we mentioned, Chip and Dale, Donald Duck and Daisy Duck, Goofy and Stitch. And this is all happening in the space that used to be where a Walt Disney Feature Animation had a satellite campus back in the 90s. So this was kind of like the East Coast little animation academy, not out in LA. And this is where major films were done, including Mulan and Stitch. So there's really so much history. And what I think kind of brings this history all together is what I am really excited about that's going to be opening there. And it is going to be an Olaf animatronic. And he is going to be taking an animation class with us. What
could possibly go wrong?
I know, what could go wrong? I absolutely love the animation classes. When I'm at Disney California Adventure, it's like one of my favorite things to do. Not only are you inside, so you're in the air conditioning and sitting, but you get to kind of draw these amazing characters and just see like, okay, maybe I'm not as terrible of an artist as I think I am. Are you a fan of these?
I love I draw stick figures. I'm a
Yes.
master at the stick figure art. But when you do have these instructions of how to do it and just draw a circle here and draw a circle there, and all of a sudden, if you follow the instructions that you're given, you can actually be an artist, and
Right.
it's so enlightening. It's like, wait a minute, I can do more than stick figures.
Yes.
It's really amazing. I'm excited about Olaf too, because he's
Yes.
the personality that will bring to this experience. I know that there's going to be laughter in this.
Mhm.
It should be extraordinarily entertaining. I will say I wish it was a live instructor. Um, I'm
Yes.
I'm with you on what you said a little bit earlier, that I think some of the live experiences are kind of being, ripped out from under us here and
Mhm.
there. But obviously, this is a very repetitive thing, and with it being pre-recorded, it will probably allow for a better experience because it'll go faster and get more people to be able to enjoy it. But just having that Olaf is going
Mhm.
to definitely take it off the rails for
Oh,
me.
absolutely. We just saw a video of Josh Gad in the studio recording, his voiceover for it, and this will be called Olaf Draw. So he is not going to be teaching us, which I'm kind of relieved because I don't
Yeah,
know if he would be able to do that. I'm sure it would be
here's a
hilarious.
snowball.
Yes, but he's actually going to be taking the class with us. He's sitting on this little stool at a desk, so he's not going to be, roaming around like the other Olaf that is coming to Disneyland Paris, like in days. But he's going to be sitting there at the desk, being one of us. We are on the same level, and there's going to be 9 different variations of the show, each with a teaching guest showing us how to draw characters. This is going to include Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, the genie, Olaf, Ursula. And what I love is each one is going to have, so like we said, this is a video screen. So if you are familiar with the classes on Disney Cruise Line, they also moved away from having a live person to a video screen, which, is a bummer, but I get it. It's a
Mhm.
lot there that they'd have to be casting and whatnot. So what I love about this is each one is going to be instructed by someone else. And these are all real animators, real people in the art world.
Yeah, they know what they're doing, in other words, and
Yes.
to see what they've accomplished and what they've done, and I think I love this, because you do get to know the people behind the magic, much like
Mhm.
we've had that peek behind the curtain with Imagineering, with the things they're doing on Disney Plus, to be able to see them and see the talent and put the faces to the names and the characters, I think it's really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Olaf Draws will be coming later this summer. They are saying late summer 2026 when the magic of Disney animation opens, where again, we're going to have that high concept meet and greet. There's going to be an Alice in Wonderland playground and a screening of the 2023 short film Once Upon a Studio. I'm really excited for that. And the Muppets coaster.
The
I'm not
Muppets
gonna
coaster.
Yes. So pour one out for Rock and
Yay.
Roller Coaster, which, they got their last backstage passes this past weekend. And we are moving onwards and upwards because the Muppets are invading a new area of Hollywood studios also this summer. We do not know the dates, but I will be there with bells on.
Oh my gosh, yes. I am not, a big fan of that coaster specifically, 'cause I just can't handle the standing stops and the shooting guns out
Yeah.
anymore. My body
Mhm.
just goes, "Dude, really? We're done with this, right?"
Yeah.
No, Muppets are involved. My little
Yes.
body is going to be in that chair, and I want to see what they come up with. I am a huge fan of the Muppets, and the possibilities for this are
Muppets Christmas
endless.
Carol holiday overlay.
Yes.
Putting it into
Oh,
the universe right now.
manifest that, buddy,
Yes,
because
I am
that would be
manifesting that.
amazing.
Yes, I'm really excited. It's like the Disney's history with the Muppets is like decades and decades of saga. So we are getting a ride. I am so excited, and we'll be keeping everyone in the loop about what's going on. And I am so happy you got to join me today.
Me too. Again, it's great to see you, even though we're not in the same room. It's great to talk with you, and I know that we're gonna be sharing some adventures, coming up soon. So hopefully maybe we'll even ride a Muppets coaster together.
I would love to. Thank you so much again. And before we go, we want to thank you, our sponsor, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and be sure to purchase your copy of our Epic Universe magazine. I want to remind everyone to please giving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to us. You can give ahead and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. And be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com. How could folks find you?
You can find me on all the socials at Becky Mankin. But if you want to get in touch with one of our wonderful vacation planners and advisors, just go to MEI-Travel.com. And from there, you can jump out to our Disney specialty division, which is MouseFanTravel.com, or our Universal, which is UniversalFanTravel.com. But they're all under that umbrella.
Amazing. And until next week, I hope everyone stays safe, try something new, but most importantly, have fun. We will see you real soon. Bye.
Bye.